back, everybody. It is the final week of our July Junk Journal Challenge 2025, which has been hosted by Leigh, Leigh's Art and Junk Journal Wonderland. And so final week, we just have 4 prompts this week. And the prompt for today is old person. So that is where we're going to be starting. Now, I have this stunningly beautiful book. It's called Muckle, and it is written by Michael King, who was one of New Zealand's leading historians, and he did a lot of work researching Māori culture, but also the relationship between Pākehā and Māori. Now, Pākehā is non-Māori, so he's done a lot of work researching the relationship between settlers in New Zealand and the original indigenous Māori people. And this is a book that Michael King has written with photographs by Marty Friedlander. And again, Marty is a leading photographer in New Zealand, and she has done some beautiful work. And as I flick through, you can see there are some amazing photographs in here. And muckle are the it's a word for tattoo in Māori. And in this book, it's referring to the traditional chin tattoos that are specific to women, or wahine, within Māori culture. And a lot of these are on older women because the custom had largely died out, thanks in part to the influence of Westerners, which I think is really sad, and is a loss of a cultural tradition. And interestingly, now there is quite a big resurgence, and it is not uncommon to see younger people, younger women with a muckle, a chin tattoo. So anyway, my inspiration has come from the beautiful photographs in this book today, and this is one of them. Now, I have photocopied this and reduced it, and my understanding is that because this is for my own use and it is not being used to make money or to sell, then it's okay for me to do that. And so, as I say, this is a photograph by Marty Friedlander, and it is this beautiful, beautiful wahine, beautiful Māori woman. And she has the chin tattoo here. It's difficult to see in this photograph, but I thought this was just an amazing photograph of an older person. And for me, the older generation represent wisdom and knowledge and learning, and should be respected and looked after. And I think in our modern day society we've lost some of that, and I think that's really sad. But anyway, enough of my ramblings. This is the photograph I'm going to be using today. I've printed this onto a thin card, and I'm going to be turning this into a pocket. And I will tell you before I go any further who this lady is. There we go. So here's the original picture, and it's Kirikino Kohetu, and she comes from the Waikato area in New Zealand. And this tattoo was done with the chisel method, which is the old method in a lot of the Pacific Islands of using a very sharp chisel and ink instead of needles. Right, so that's that. And there's a lot of ceremony around women receiving this tattoo, which is, I won't go into here, but it's really interesting. Anyway, so I'm going to use that as a pocket. I've also chosen this. This is a piece of packaging which I scanned originally. Hang on, let me show you. So this is one of my original scans. Just a piece of packaging like you get in boxes wrapped around things. And I have printed that in grayscale because I wanted to keep this page sort of with a black and white theme. Excuse me. So I'm going to be using that as a background. I've also got some numbers here, which are stamped onto some gift tissue, and I think I might include those, and that for me talks to, we're talking about older age, the passage of time, the passing of the years. So those are my 3 main elements I'm going to use to start creating. There may be other things that come in along with it as we go, but that's where I'm going to be going, I think, today. So sit back, relax and enjoy. Okay, you know what guys, I'm not actually going to do any more than that today because I want the focal point to be very much on this beautiful queer or older lady. And you can see the numbers there, just because they're printed on gift wrap tissue, they're just sort of melting into the background, but just visible enough to give that indication of time and passing of the years. I don't know whether I mentioned, but the reason the background wasn't a random choice, I have to say. I chose the woven pattern on the background because of the significance of weaving within Maori culture. So it wasn't quite as random as it might have seemed. Anyway, so there's my pocket, there's my page for today. I have a little ready-made notebook here. These mini notebooks are dead easy to make and they're great for using up your scraps. I'll link a video down below in the description box that shows you how to make those. But I have a stash of ready-made ones. I'm going to pop that one in there. And so there is today's page. Our prompt was old person. And so we have a pocket and a background and a little notebook. So I hope you've enjoyed watching that. I will be back tomorrow, and I think the prompt tomorrow is vintage pattern. So we look forward to playing with that prompt tomorrow. But for now, thank you so much for watching. I will see you tomorrow. Ka kite anō.